Yeah, so right after our show on Tuesday in Denver, they fired their head coach, Michael Malone, and Calvin Booth, which
Yep.
is just really weird. They're in the playoffs. It's just a
Yep.
funny time. And then last night they got the win. They took care of business against the Kings, and Jokic had this to say post game. People said we were vulnerable, but I think the beast is always the strongest or the most dangerous when they are vulnerable. So maybe Josh Kronk woke up the beast.
Josh
So
Kroenke, the owner of the team.
Sorry, I knew I was going to mess his name up. But yeah.
No, that's
So that's what's going on in Denver right now.
So listen, I don't think it's a good sign when you fire your coach. Now, there's other reporting, shocker, that the GM and some players were frustrated that Michael Malone kept playing Russell Westbrook in big spots. Like, man, tough spot, but I've seen that movie before. Because they won last night, people, I think, are trying to convince themselves, oh, well, maybe this was what the team needed. I don't buy that at all. I'm not saying this was a disaster. I'm not saying it's crazy to fire Michael Malone. What I am saying is that they have, and last night, Daniel points out, is the first game since December 5th that Westbrook played fewer than 20 minutes. Got it. But what the Nuggets need, obviously, is Jamal Murray to come back from his injury. But what the Nuggets also need, that Jamal Murray coming back from his injury is not going to have an impact on, is to have a passable defense. And they don't. So as great as I watched that game last night because I had a nice little Lakers, Thunder, Clippers, Kings 5.5-1 parlay. And the Lakers won. It was all money line. The Clippers won against the Rockets' backups. The Thunder won despite playing their own backups because the Suns have quit. And then I was like, all right, we'll see how the Nuggets react to the firing. And the Nuggets did react well to the firing. But they still just can't guard anybody. And so I think they're scary because they have the best player in the world. I don't think they're dangerous when it comes to a deep playoff run. As far as DeMonze, what it means for Joker, they don't have a ton of flexibility. They can try to trade for Durant. I think the only way that would happen would be if Durant demanded to go there because they're not going to have the best package. So, they could go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know what Jamal Murray's contract situation is. Shouldn't they just try and shop him? Get some assets for Jamal Murray if that's possible. I don't know if his.
The contract situation is a max deal that has not gone into effect yet.
Right.
And I think that they probably feel like the Jokic-Murray combo they want to keep together. It's Michael Porter Jr. that they would be trading.
Yeah, that's fair.
And listen, I am pretty confident that if they wanted to, they could get Paul George. But that contract seems to be underwater. Yeah, but they just don't have a ton of flexibility.
Yeah.
Like Daniels, our resident Nuggets fan, hates the idea of Paul George. I would call New Orleans over the summer about Zion.
Yeah.
It feels to me we have these two multi-time MVP, one-time champion, one playoff appearance, generational, international, superstar, top 20 all-time guys in Giannis and Jokic. And they've now both dealt with the coach firings. The Nuggets are yet to make the panic trade. But you do it because you don't want the guy to ask out. And Jokic doesn't seem like he would ask out, but it would be reasonable.
Well, from
Go ahead.
Well, he said on the firing he knew a little bit before everybody, and he told me we made a decision, so it was not a discussion. It was a decision, and they told me why. So I listened and I accepted it. So it's not like them firing Michael Malone would have determined Jokic. Like it didn't seem like he was tired of Michael Malone. So
Well, so listen, I think that Jokic probably, if he desperately wanted them to keep Malone, they could have kept him for the rest of the year. But I don't blame. Listen, he was there for 10 years. If they thought the message was stale or whatever, it's fine. I have no issue with that piece of it. My point is whether or not Jokic feels like this is the best place for, they're going to give me the best chance to win a championship, and whether or not the Kroenkes' thriftiness and not keeping KCP cost us a chance at winning this championship. I mean, Geth asks in the chat, do you think the Nuggets fired Malone because they were worried they might go on a run, which would make firing him harder later? Listen, the owner said something along the lines of sometimes, there's real issues and wins cover up those issues. I think that's silly. Like, what are we saying here? That the Nuggets were worried they were going to win the championship and therefore not be able to fire the coach. If they win the championship, you don't want to fire the coach. If they're saying they were worried that they were going to win a couple rounds in the playoffs and then not be able to fire the coach, sure you can. You're the damn 4 seed and fired him 3 games for the playoffs. So I don't really buy that rationale. I do think that this is a very interesting summer for Joker. And just is what it is. It's a really interesting summer for Joker. All right, let's do a few listener questions.
Noah asks, Nick, do you think the Lakers would be better right now if the Mark Williams trade that went through? Jesus. Yes, go ahead.
You okay, buddy? Sorry. Turn DeMonte's mic off for a bit. These guys choking. Mark Williams has been awesome since the trade didn't go through. Really what that question is, do I think Mark Williams would add more value to them this season than Dalton Connect? Because that was the player in the trade. And the answer to that's probably yes. But saving those first round picks for a bigger move might be better for them long term. But we'll see. And we'll also, again, Mark Williams never played playoff basketball, neither has Dalton Connect. They're telling me there was a ton of Orlando Magic talk in the chat, so they wanted me to say something about the Magic. Great job by the Magic last night beating the backup Celtics, and I say that sincerely. And in what maybe is a playoff preview, except it won't be backup Celtics, here's what I'll tell you. The Magic offense is terrible, but the defense is just enough of a pain in the ass that if you're Boston, you would prefer Orlando lose their first play-in game so you get Atlanta or the Bulls or the Heat in that round 1 matchup. What else do we
Andrew says, everyone says Luka needs to play mad, but do you think it's not solely anger, but also other emotions he can use as fuel?
Maybe. I don't know. You probably have to ask the psychologist. I think anger does it for him, though. I think and that's why the ejection made me so mad. And we'll leave it on this. If you need to channel your anger and your vitriol at somebody, you have the safest bet in the arena is find an annoying, famous heckler and do it to him. I channel it at another player, I can get in trouble. I channel it at another coach, I can get in trouble. Channel it at the ref, I can get in trouble. Channel it at my teammates, throws us off. The absolute nut high of what you should go after is, this clown who talks about the game within the game and heckled me during the playoffs last year. He and I are going to go back and forth, and he got thrown out for it. All right,
that
Eric has a question for you, DeMonte.
About himself.
I know, and then he did an interview. Before we go, Eric has a question for you.
Eric says,
I want to ask it. I want to ask you. Celtics are in the finals. It's game 7, Western Conference Finals. Thunder, Lakers.
I want to be playing
Who
the
are
Thunder.
you? You would rather play the Thunder.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's, and by the way, Eric, thank you for that. I'm going to put Wilds to that same question today on the TV show.